Come, whatever you may be. Come, even if you're a pagan or a fire worshipper. Ours is not the lodge of despair. Come, if you have sinned 1,000 times. Anatolia, the summary of a tremendous past which sustained all faiths throughout the history, including atheists, polytheists, and monotheist religions. It is probable that Muslim mysticism is the light of this summary shed over the world. Whirling dervishes search the realities of the eternal universe and God's love, rotating around themselves and each other. If you live in a big city, you are always in a hurry. You don't even realize that you live on the most beautiful land of the world, in a city where thousands of traces of history are buried. Remembering the exceptional history hidden under your hurried paces and the cultures and magical nature existing on that land is a privilege you rarely enjoy. You are always in a hurry, and you even forget your privileges most of the time. Each civilization that settled in Anatolia was a migrant, and each migrating civilization leaves behind a different history. And history ceaselessly inscribes the unknown through the ages. Secrets, codes, beliefs. Anatolia had something to do with each belief, secret, and code that happened to cross the earth. Anatolia has been the host of beliefs, revolts, victories, joys, great battles, and great harmony of thousands of years. If you make a journey in Anatolia towards the magnificent flow of beliefs, secrets, and codes, you come across an incredible unity of mind beneath each religion that longs for and suggests to discriminate any religion from the others. In Hasan Cave, the citadel of compassion, in Hacı Bektaş Veli, in Mevlana at a night of unification, in Deir Zafaran in a glorious solitude, at the house of Virgin Mary during the Holy Silence. Each faith has found a safe haven in Anatolia. Each faith has rooted its history here. Each year, festivities are held at the St. Pierre Church in Antakya as one of the earliest seats of Christianity. If you go to this church, declared a holy site of pilgrimage by Pope Paul VI in 1963, on June 29th each year, you will see how Christians from all sects gather here in this holy cave remaining from the times when their religion was not separated into factions, and witness how Turkish Christians pray in Turkish. Center of the earth. Beliefs are so profound in Istanbul that in 324 Romans erected an obelisk near the pagan temple dedicated to Tuhe, the guardian goddess of Constantinople. According to them, this was square one, the beginning point of the roads leading to the west. Regarded as the center of Istanbul, the Million Stone still stands today. The earliest pagans of the city used to start and end all their journeys from the Million Stone, this seemingly ruined stone that bears an immortal magic standing over the basilica cistern. So, we did the same. During the Roman era, Istanbul had three miracles: the Emperor's Palace, People's Hippodrome, and God's Hagia Sophia. Only God's Hagia Sophia remains from those three miracles. Justinianus, emperor of Eastern Rome, couldn't help and cried, "Solomon, I surpassed you," to King Solomon at the opening ceremony of the basilica he constructed in 5 years with 10,000 workers. In 660 BC, when the Megarians reached the entrance of the Bosphorus after sailing along the coasts of the Aegean and Marmara Seas in their tiny boats, they were overwhelmed by what they saw. Since then, Istanbul itself is a miracle, and everyone seeing it is overwhelmed. During the Byzantine era, Christianity dominated the region. But the most important structure that changed the history of the city was the Topkapı Palace, and it marked the city as an Ottoman capital. On the other hand, Süleymaniye Mosque and Complex, built by Süleyman the Magnificent, verified the establishment of the relationship between the society and religion. Byzantium, capital of the ancient period. Constantinople, capital of the Byzantine Empire. Istanbul, capital of the Ottoman Empire. From a pagan city to a Christian city, from a Christian city to a Muslim city, the immortal city that has hosted the greatest religions of the world. Not only the Jews who fled from the dark religious genocide of the Dark Ages, but Syrians, Armenians, people belonging to Orthodoxy and other sects of Christianity have found a home in the limitless freedom of Istanbul. The political administration, dominated by its Turkish character, continued in a multilingual and multi-religious structure, and earned the Ottomans a career of freedom and beliefs that never existed in any other empire. Istanbul was there all through the world's history, and that history made it a city of the world. Each civilization we undertook has been a remnant we had to convey to the future. Anatolia, the earliest host of history. Mankind had decided to settle in Anatolia during 9000 BC. Some say that the secret of Mesopotamia lies here. Social life had initially begun on this magical land. One of the earliest settlements in history is in Çayönü, in Anatolia. In Çatalhöyük, one of the most important settlements of the Neolithic period, wall paintings in the houses document the village life. Walls of the houses were decorated with paintings of bulls during this period, when bulls were considered sacred. Natives of Çatalhöyük buried their dead beneath their houses and left gifts beside them. Through this period, the idea of a mother goddess was regarded as a cult of fruitfulness. When the human being was still polytheist, he believed that not even God could be alone, and made twin figures of the goddess. Everything was visualized, including the secrets of the unknown, cult of burying the dead, animal figures, etc. Early humans expected their handmade goddesses to deal with everything they experienced but could not explain, and made new ones as they saw the goddesses could not solve their problems. The Museum of Anatolian Civilizations is adorned with priceless archaeological relics of different civilizations. A little to the south, at the slopes of the Taurus Mountains, prehistoric ages are hidden in the Karain cave. The earliest settled man had marked his trace in the dark. Here, the Homo sapiens, believed to have lived 90 or 100,000 years ago, has left his mark. Homo neanderthalis left a molared tooth. The most beautiful artifacts of the Paleolithic age were found here. Terms like Aspendos, Edebosos, Olympos, Phaselis maintain that in addition to theater that had become a lifestyle, a local Anatolian language other than Greek was used in Antalya. The Anatolian tribes that took very good care of their prophets so as to know their future, tried to grasp the future by reliefs they carved on bridges, graves and temples, and to receive news from the stars with drawn ciphers and codes. In turn, southern coasts were governed by oracles, only out of curiosity, for an unknown length of time. Actually, according to the legend of legends, Midas owed his kingdom to one of those prophecies. As King Gordios did not have a son, Phrygians decided to recognize the first man entering the city as their king, and Midas became their king. When Apollo punished Midas and turned his ears into donkey ears, the Taurus mountains passed on his secret to the wind, and the secret spread all through Anatolia. Today, the wooden buttresses that have endured for thousands of years stand as a witness of history at Midas's grave that lies at the end of a very long tunnel in Gordion. Magic Land of the Sun. Mesopotamia means land that lies between two rivers, a magic land between two rivers. Both the prophets and intellectuals of the ancient ages lived in Mesopotamia. Mathematics aroused in Mesopotamia. It hosted the civilization that found mathematics. Astronomy is a field of science that arose in Mesopotamia as well. However, secrets of the prophecies and the future still keep their mystery between the two rivers. Nimrod was the founder of the Mesopotamian Empire. He was a hunter, a god, and a warrior. As legend goes, his name was given to a mountain. As indicated in all monotheist religions, Nimrod was upset by Abraham's implication of a grand and unique God and threw him into the fire. However, the fire turned into a rose garden. The fish in the lake are believed to be the wood of Nimrod's fire and considered sacred. Don't you know that he, who was bestowed upon with a kingdom, kept on arguing with Abraham on his God? Moreover, the Urfa catapults are believed to be columns erected by Nimrod to throw Abraham into the fire by means of a rope. Symbolizing the synthesis of Persian and Greek cultures, King Antiochus I of Commagene wanted to be closer to the sun and gods and had his funerary sanctuary erected on the summit of Mount Nemrut. Apollo, the god of sun, Heracles, the god of fertility, Zeus, the god of gods, and Fortuna, guardian goddess of the Commagene kingdom, stand guard only to protect King Antiochus I. In the inscription carved in stones, King Antiochus I states his intention as, "I erected my statues as a tribute to the gods and my godly ancestors, in order to immortalize my deeds and those of my gods." In spite of excavations that have been going on for 100 years, the burial chamber has not been reached yet, enhancing the mystery of Mount Nemrut. The Urfa region of land of Mudar was one of the most important religious centers of the pagan age. Haran, the city of the moon god Sin, carried on this characteristic as one of the earliest seats of Christianity as well. Syrian writing was born here. According to the legend widespread in Urfa, the city of prophets, Haran plain was the first place Adam and Eve set foot on earth after being rejected from heaven. Eve planted the wheat seed she brought from heaven in the Haran plain. Each day, the sun leaves the day in Haran, spreading its colors to the plain, making Eve's wheat plenty. A little further away, Deir Zafaran in Mardin safeguards the Syrian traces of 4,000 years in its glorious solitude. Syrian citizens exercise their religious services freely in the Church of Forties in Mardin. Hassan Cave, the capital of the Artukids 1,000 years ago, now awaits to be wiped away from history. Born of the majestic marriage of the nature and history, now bearing the glorious pride of sunken souls, the city is an old stopover in the citadel of hearts. Standing on the important trade routes from north to south and from east to west, Hassan Cave is a monument of history that had once been the target of great wars. The Armenian church on the Akdamar island lives on as the banner of another religion, at the middle of Lake Van. Although there is not one soul praying at the church, former prayers made in it roam the island as the protector of the Akdamar church. Doğu Beyazıt recites a different story at the farthest end of the magical East, as each step you take meets a sad page of history. Unfortunately, the construction of the İshak Pasha Palace took 100 years, but it could not subsist its own history that long. The palace comprised of a mosque, a library, a courtroom, a sewer system, and a heating system, was decorated with remarkable examples of Ottoman stonework. Valleys where religions took cover. The volcanic Mount Erciyes brought gods of fire from the sky to the earth in Nevşehir. Christians that fled from pagan Rome built caves, tiny dwellings, and minimalist churches out of the easily carved stone that became harder when contacted with air in the Zelva Valley, Ihlara, and Göreme. Even when Christianity was finally liberated, this mysterious cover became an established way of life, and the tradition of living in caves away from the world in miniature communes began. The caves in Zelve, used during the period when Christianity was prohibited, have reached our time. Later, Christians that escaped Arabian invasions built underground shelters in Kaymaklı, Derinkuyu, and the surrounding region. Cities, cisterns, kitchens, halls, living rooms, and prayer chambers built 85 meters under the surface seem to be too fabulous for a hidden shelter. Presently, being the greatest open-air museum in Turkey, Göreme houses numerous dwellings and beautiful rock churches. Although the non-Muslim farmers called Gehran have left due to forced migration, we may come across them on the fresco in a church or at the architectural style of a house. The fairy chimneys, on the other hand, are natural formations that have served as graves during the Roman times and as pigeon nests later. At the beginning of 1800s, an old and disabled woman called Katerina Emmerich in Germany kept telling about Selçuk she actually never saw to travelers who believed her. According to Katerina, Jesus Christ's mother Mary had spent the last years of her life in a holy place where the earliest civilization of the world was buried. After giving birth to a son and announcing that he would become a great leader, she stopped talking. When her son's leadership was spread all around the Middle East and Jesus Christ was resurrected, Virgin Mary settled and died in this holy town which Katerina never saw but kept on telling about. When travelers come to Selçuk, they were surprised to see the holy place and the ceremonies held by native Christians that Katerina had been telling about. House of Virgin Mary has been a site of pilgrimage for Catholics for 100 years. A monastery in the Black Sea region, built 1,240 meters above sea level. Virgin Mary's Monastery, Sumela. According to the legend, two monks, Barnabas and Sophronios, dream of Virgin Mary one night. Mary tells them to go to the Black Sea mountains and build a temple for God. The monks take a ship to Trabzon, wander around the region, and recognize the place they saw in their dream when they come upon the place where the monastery stands now. First of all, they built the first rock church by enlarging a cave they found. The church, called Panagia Tumelas, meaning Virgin of the Black Mountain in Greek, lost nothing of its grandeur in spite of its solitude after 1,600 years. Further up, in the Çamlıhemşin Plateau, plants and flowers comfort Sumela, bearing the 7 colors of the sun, and say, "Whatever they take away from you, they cannot take away what we have given you. You carry on and stand firm." Anatolia is the summary of all religions. Anatolia is a grand summary of history, bearing figures of atheists, polytheists, and monotheist religions. Muslim mysticism is probably the offering of this summary to the world. Konya, the home of mysticism, is a city of philosophy immortalized by the Selçuk civilization. It still is. The Karatay Theological School, now a museum of tile and stoneworks, was built as a matchless example of the Selçuk architecture when the philosophy of mysticism was born. Never giving up the search for knowledge, Selçuks did not suffice with the Karatay Medrese and built the İnce Minareli Medrese as well. Today, bearing an unrivaled example of the Selçuk stoneworks, the İnce Minareli Medrese houses inscriptions, reliefs, woodworks, and tombstones remaining from Selçuks and Karahans, as a presentation of a past civilization to the brand new millennium. close by, whirling dervishes searched the realities of the eternal universe and God's love, rotating around themselves and each other. Man is born twice, firstly from his mother and secondly from his own body. The long journey leading to the secret opens when he is born from his own body. Mevlana has lived by the incredible miracle of being what you seem, seeming what you are. He is the bearer of limitless tolerance and a matchless invitation. He announces that everyone standing on this land can enter the lodge. They have actually come and kept on coming. They come and be dazzled with the dance of the dervishes in submission to God. Mevlana had said, "All ways lead to God. I chose the way of music and dance." All the secrets of philosophy, contemplation, and thinking are hidden in this old land called Anatolia. In order to reveal the secrets, you have to take off the worldly attire of vanity. Konya is the record book of all those secrets. Life flows and reflows here like a river. Everyone must come to the steps of central Anatolia, because the epistles of universal peace are buried here in this vast valley. In the same valley, a tomb belonging to Hacı Bektaş Veli, according to one legend, or Saint Haralombos, according to another. It is not important who the tomb belongs to. What counts is the goodness and peace he promises to his believers belonging to any religion. Promises of serene peace. Hacı Bektaş Veli represents a dream created by the Anatolian people. Ways to achieve sanctity define the universe as a mystic dream of the actual universe. It is above all religions, above all beliefs or disbeliefs. Hacı Bektaş has given peace to animals that are impossible to live together by nature. The doctrine of Hacı Bektaşis, meaning gathering of souls, began with Hacı Veli. Man is the speaking God, and God is the speaking man. The Mevlevi doctrine is the soul journey of the enlightened, while the Bektashi doctrine is the soul journey of the decent and poor people. However, there lived a unique man that has immortalized the soul journey of decent people, Yunus Emre, who has regarded every man of every religion, every belief, and every color with the same unlimited love. He was condemned to search his leader's scepter as a humble traveler for refusing to believe his sheikh before knowing his own position. Yunus has marked Anatolia, saying, "If you have broken a heart, your prayers are of no use. A decent man stands modest. He is not the high and mighty." Anatolia has endlessly searched for the unity of beliefs, at times with Mevlana or with Yunus and Pir Sultan Abdal at times. The wise Sheikh Edebali inscribed the universal moral doctrine that had roamed from the Aegean coast to Mount Ararat for 700 years on gazelle hide during the early years of the Ottoman Empire and left it for the coming generations. This legacy is more enduring and immortal than empires. There are men who are born at sunrise and die at sunset. Console yourself, my son. You are strong, clever, and elegant. But if you don't know where to use these traits, your anger and your ego will conspire against your mind. Then you will be blown about in morning breezes. You should always be patient and determined. The world is not as big as you can see with your own two eyes. All the unconquered secrets, all the unknown and unseen will only be revealed by your virtues. Have mercy for three people: the wise man among the ignorant, the poor man who was once rich, the disrespected man who was once influential. Never forget that those standing high and mighty are not as secure as those standing down below. When we return to the Million Stone, where we began our journey, we realize that Istanbul is a universal city with the history it bears on its soil, and Turkey repeats the invitation made 725 years ago with the awareness of its responsibility. Come, whatever you may be. Come, even if you're a pagan or a fire worshipper. Ours is not the lodge of despair. Come if you have sinned 100 times.